Hi guys, it's Angie and welcome back to my Flosstube channel. Welcome visitors. If you're new here, hi, I'm Angie. And yeah, obviously. And if you are a returning friend, I'm happy to have you here. You will notice I am somewhere new. I'm in my living room. I would have filmed in my normal spots, except my normal spots are overrun. We do not keep our Christmas presents under the Christmas tree until Christmas Eve. We put them under there on Christmas Eve, mainly because we have some sneaky kids that in the past have proven that they just can't keep their hands off. So we find that to keep us from getting angry at them and to keep them from losing gifts for Christmas because they were peeking when they shouldn't have been, we find it's easier to just wrap them all, leave them in our room, and then Christmas Eve, before Santa visits, we put what we got the kids under the tree. So my room is overrun with Christmas gifts, and then my husband has a giant whiteboard in his office because he needed it for work. When I'm saying giant, I mean one of those ones that's like on rolling wheels and it's huge and it flips around. It's ginormous. He needs it for work, and so it takes up most of the room, and it's just kind of an eyesore, and so the office doesn't work anymore. So I figured, you know what? Hey, come see my new tree. It is a new tree. I am extremely excited. I've been wanting a new tree for 3 years now. 2 years ago, we set up our tree, the tree that I've had for 12 years. It is a $79 Black Friday sale from Home Depot, and it worked, and it was great, and we were happy with it until 2 years ago when I set it up and none of the lights worked. And so my daughter and I spent an entire day clipping all of the pre-strung lights out of that tree, buying new ones, and zip tying them into the tree on the branches. And yay, we saved the tree. It was wonderful. That Christmas was beautiful. Last year, I put the tree up and half of the lights didn't work. So I didn't want to go through the hassle of restringing it. We're not getting rid of the tree. I will restring it one of these days, and then we're going to have one tree that we can use when we have a space big enough. I've always dreamt of having multiple Christmas trees in my house. I've seen many people who will have a really fancy one that's in a room that's just, it's pretty, and it's got the empty boxes that are wrapped in beautiful paper underneath it, kind of as decor. And then they have their family tree that isn't quite as fancy. If the kids touch the ornaments, it's not a big deal. I would like something like that. Plus, I also have, you can't see it. Oh, let me see if I can switch you over. I also have my Nightmare Before Christmas tree. It's not lit up. I have to light it up. But I've got a little work I have to do on that again. I'm gonna take you on a little tour because I have a few things on my decor related that I was gonna show off. But anyway, so I have my Nightmare Before Christmas tree. I wanna have a tree with stitchy stuff on it. And then obviously I have this tree. This is our family memory tree. Every year, each of our kids gets a brand new ornament to put on the tree. It's got all the ornaments I got. That's what my family did for us. So I have ornaments from when I was a kid, all the way up until right when we got married. Those are all on there. And then every time we visit someplace new, we put ornaments on the tree. I actually usually can find an ornament for every place we've ever been in a gift shop. But if I can't, I buy keychains and I hang the keychains on the tree. So I have a lot of keychains from London when we visited London and when we were driving through Canada as we were on our way back from Alaska. So it's just our memory tree. So 4 kids times one new ornament every year times 17 years. We had a lot of ornaments on that tree. We have one kid that will probably move out before next Christmas, so half of a bunch of those, at least 18 of those ornaments will be gone, and then the next year another kid leaves, and oh my goodness. So this is our last Christmas with all of our kids living in the house. It's kind of sad. It doesn't actually feel like Christmas that much this year though. I think probably because we're not doing our normal things that we normally, But this video is not going to be super long. I worked on 3 projects. I got a lot done on those 3 projects, but I only worked on 3 projects, and that's about it. I guess I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. Words, it's late. I didn't film yesterday because I had to drive into, for my son's school district, he has to take these specific tests that say, you know, this material, so you get a credit for it for high school so he can graduate. And to get to the testing center, he has to drive, well, I have to drive. It takes about 30 minutes. Well, yesterday morning, it's pouring rain, and I myself do not enjoy driving in freeway traffic. I'm kind of a nervous driver, which is not a good thing because nervous drivers tend to be the ones that have accidents. And I've only been in 1 accident in my entire life when I was 17 that I caused. It was my fault, totally. I was 17. But, I'm a good driver. I'm a good driver. But I get scared of the freeways, and the freeways here are not nearly as bad as, say, Dallas. Dallas, I had to drive on the freeway 3 times in Dallas in 3 years, and I swore that the only time I would drive in Dallas is if I absolutely 100% had to. That it's like white knuckling it. I can't breathe. There's just too many cars going too fast with too many lanes, too many exits and interchanges where you have to cross 7 lanes of traffic in such a short amount of time. So here, the freeway is not that bad. I drove us into DC a couple weeks ago. It was not that bad. There were a few little interchanges, and there were a few spots where there's the express lane that's 3 lanes wide, and then you have 4 lanes off to the side, so it seems like this huge, massive road, but it's really not that bad. I had to drive into this testing center last week. I had no issues. Yesterday, my GPS took me a different way, and I was fine because I was like, I know where I'm going, but it's raining, and it's raining hard. It's that kind of rain where when it's pouring down and then the stuff's kicking up from the road, and so it's kind of hard to see the road. And the stupid GPS takes me the way that it says is faster, and it's taking me this roundabout way, and then it's gonna connect me onto the freeway, fine. Connects me on the freeway this time into the fast lane. So instead of coming into the slow lane, I'm going into the fast lane, and then I have to get from here and cross 4 lanes of traffic to get to my exit that's 3/4 of the mile down the road. And I'm trying to see if there's cars coming, and it was freaking me out, and it was just, obviously I made it. I'm fine, no accidents happened. But I tell you right now, I will never take that direction again. I will never take that freeway entrance again. Oh, I like simple. I like small towns. I don't like crowds. We've never taken our kids to Disneyland or Disney World because we just don't, crowds. And the older I get, I find the older I've been getting, the more I don't like to be touched. I don't like to be squeezed. I don't like to be in crowds. It's actually kind of, it's kind of a thing. It really bothers me when a place is really crowded. I have a real hard time with it. COVID's actually, I thought it was going to be horrible. It's not too bad. I can stay inside and I'm okay. I miss people, but I don't miss big groups. Okay, so now that I'm 11 minutes into my video, I will go ahead and start. I'm sorry, but that's why I didn't film yesterday though, is because the morning and his testing was like an hour and a half long, and then there was the grocery shopping, and it was rainy, and just so much stuff going on that when I got home, I was just tired and I was done. And I said, yeah, I'm just gonna sit and stitch, and then, we'll see. So I will go ahead and show you what I've worked on. I put some more work into Giant Harry Potter. I can't remember specifically everything I worked on. I think I put about 500 stitches in. I only used it for a couple little prompts because I was thinking about it. Okay, so here we are. And I remember what we talked about. I added right here. Oh, you're gonna see the lights of my Christmas tree through here. So right here, I've added the invisibility cloak. So that's gonna go there. And I can't remember if Hedwig was on here last time I showed you or not. So there's Hedwig. And then I came over here and I started working on another spell, and I had the spell and it was all done and I was proud of myself, and then I realized that I lined it up wrong and it was 5 spaces too far this direction. So I had to unpick it all and just start over. And then I came down, and as I had mentioned before, I thought about adding Buckbeak. So I removed the doe because the doe isn't even significant until a later book. So I may see if I can put the doe in at the bottom in the later book where it belongs. And then, so you have Harry's dad here next to the stag Patronus. And then on the pattern, it's got Harry's mom next to her Patronus. But again, her mom, I mean, his mom kind of shows up randomly throughout the series, but she's not important to the storyline of book 3. So then I went and I searched through my kids' Lego set and found Buckbeak in there and used that to create my own Buckbeak pattern. So I've counted it out and it should fit just fine right there where I took out the doe. So I've got Buckbeak, and then I was kind of on a roll because that's what I did for so I've got the cloak here, and I still got a little bit of extra work I think I need to do on the cloak. So I did the cloak, and then I also decided, because I'm trying to fill voids up here, because up here, let me see if I can see, next to over here, I was gonna put Professor Quirrell, because they released an extra person pattern of Quirrell, so that's gonna go there. But then I still have this space here, because in the pattern, right here, I believe it is, they just had all 4 of the Quidditch captains, which, okay, I can see why you did that, but first of all, I don't even remember the names of the Quidditch captains from any of the houses except Oliver Wood. And he does play an important part, sort of, in the first book, but I don't care. Oliver Wood doesn't make me go, ooh, I'm so glad I have Oliver on here. So I took Oliver Wood out to put Fluffy and the invisibility cloak, so I needed something else right here. And so I also charted out, and it's not done, I'm still working on it, but I'm making the fat lady, the painting with the fat lady. So I'm trying to make it match the mirror I'm trying to make it somewhat match my mirror here. It'll be a little bit different, but it'll have the fat lady, because the fat lady plays a big part in a lot of the books. And I'm trying, you know, we've got the Devil's Snare, which is not in the pattern, but that's a big deal. Quidditch, they had the Quidditch captains, but I think Quidditch itself is more of a big deal for the book than the captains. Fluffy, you know, he needed all of those things to get down to the giant chessboard. Norbert, he meets him in the first book and gets in trouble, and so there's a lot of things that they don't put in the pattern, so I'm trying to find the things that are important to me. So anyway, Buckbeak will go down here, and I'm just sorting out the colors for him. And then in the bottom of the pattern, I'm gonna add some other things. So I got Buckbeak, and then I'm gonna add some other things like my camera just cut out. But yeah, so I will add the Death Eater's mark. I'm still working on that. So I'm trying to create my own patterns. A couple of them, like the Devil's Snare, I think I mentioned before, was somebody else charted it and said, here, you can use these, to the people in the group that I was using. So, but the other ones I wanted to try to chart myself so that I could share it freely on here and not be like, this is somebody else's work, you can use it. No. And then I can also show you the charted piece ahead of time because I made it. So if you see it on the video and you're like, ooh, screenshot, I don't quite care. So that's where I got with that. I don't know when I'm gonna work on Harry Potter again next. I'm slowly trying to figure out what to work at. I'm working on next year's stuff too, so I might be able to talk a little bit about that. I put a lot of work, well, I'll do that one next. I also put some work into Sasquatch, mainly in here and down in here. I think I put 500-ish in Sasquatch, I think. Not too much, no, I can't remember. I don't know, I can't remember. I put a good amount in. I spent a couple hours working on him. My husband and I were watching the last season of Supernatural because, you know, the series ended. And I don't know if any of you watch Supernatural. I'm hot and cold on it. I feel like the first few seasons where each episode had its own storyline of some mysterious creature or monster, they were awesome. And then it got really boring there in the middle. I had a hard time keeping my focus when it was all about angels and demons and the war in heaven and all this other stuff. And then the last season was doing okay. It was great. And then we got to the second to last episode, which I thought was the last episode because it seemed like a finale type episode and it was awesome. And when it ended, I was like, oh, that was really good. And then another episode started. What? Okay. And then I watched it, and I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great either. So if you haven't seen, at least in my opinion, so I'm not going to say anything about it in case you haven't seen it, but I liked the second to last episode as my ending episode. I'm good with that. And then we've been trying to just watch TV together or have some fun. We watched Sherlock, which we've seen before, BBC Sherlock, and Stranger Things. We did all those again. And then my husband really got on through Amazon Prime, you can watch the MTV series Teen Wolf, which, okay, it's okay. It was fun. A few of the episodes were fun, but for the most part, it's just an annoying teenage MTV show. But we did end up watching the whole thing and seeing that one finish out, and I thought it ended well. I enjoyed that, the ending, but I kind of ignored it most of the time and had something else going on in my ear. But then we found one also on Prime, Amazon Prime, Alex Rider. It's new. It just got released. There's 8 episodes. It's a BBC, British television show, and it was pretty good. It's a slow burn, and I like that. It's kind of like how Sherlock runs. It's not, you know, fast. It takes time, and it builds your character. It builds the story over several episodes, but it's intriguing enough that you get to know the characters, which, that's a huge thing. If you don't like the characters, you're not going to like the show, which I find is my problem with most shows, is I don't like on Teen Wolf, I didn't like almost all of the characters. They just annoyed me. But and B, the slow, you really get invested in the story if you like the characters, and it takes the time to really get you invested. So I suggest checking that out because it was good. Okay, so that was Sasquatch. And then I put so much work into this. I'll just show it to you. Dark Queen of the Sea. You know what? I held it up there so you got that sneak peek, but I need to at least take the top off so you can see. Dark Queen of the Sea. The last time you saw her, I had just started getting the top of her chest here done. So I was able to finish both of her hands and get started on her, well, I mean, I finished her face, and her face was so fun to stitch because, well, and it was hard too, because around the eyes, they went 1/1 for most of the eyes. So you have 2/1, and then I don't think it was supposed to be 1/1. I did 2/1 for the eyes, and oh, that was insane trying to figure out where all my stitches were supposed to be. I was able to make it work, and it obviously, she looks beautiful. And I even did all the back stitching and everything because I didn't want her to, I wanted her to look complete as far as the head. And then they released, when they released the pattern, there were 2 faces you could choose from. And then there were 2 hair colors. This face went with the purple hair color. And then there's another face that's a little bit, if the eyes are less big and makeup-y, and the face is more angular, and it goes with blue hair. Well, I liked the blue hair, but I liked the purple face. So I had to download both copies of the patterns, which is fine because they're both available to you, just like both bodices. I could do the other top. No, if I wanted to, I could go back and download it and stitch another one with a naked girl, but I'm not gonna. Anyway, long story short, so I did the purple face, and then I'm doing the blue hair. And then shortly after I made that decision, they released, you could purchase another set that has 5 more hair colors. There's green and red, and then there was a combination where it was like purple into blue or pink into blue or whatnot. And I was so tempted, you guys. I was so tempted because there was one, and I think it went from blue, like a nice deep blue, into a pink, and it wraps around her body, the hair does. And I almost did it. I almost did it, but then I remembered, you know, I have all these colors already. They gave us a list of colors at the beginning, although there's a couple that were not in the list that we got at the beginning that were just added for the hair. That's okay. But I already had it all kitted up. I don't want to go stash dive and try to find new colors for all this extra hair and make it, and you know what, that's fine. I really like the blue hair. So I started working on her blue hair down here. It's really dark down here, and then it will be a little bit brighter of a blue up there. So all I have left to do is the hair, and then part 4, or the December part, is done. And so then I've just been working on this because it's been making me happy. I have not worked on my husband's gift. I need to work on that. So I think I'm gonna finish working on this one tonight. Whatever I'm done with, I'm done. And then starting tomorrow, I've got to crack down and focus on my husband's gift. Speaking of gifts, I got all of mine mailed off today. I did end up buying a 16-inch pillow that fit perfectly in the Star Trek pillow. I didn't take a picture because I just, you know, had to pay an arm and a leg just to get it shipped out there, to get it there before Christmas, as it was, because I'm a procrastinator. I can't leave very often during the day because of the attention that my kids need for schooling, and my husband can't do it because his job is pretty, he runs meetings a lot during the day, so I can't ask him to watch the kids so I can go stand at the mailbox for 2 hours, or the post office for 2 hours. So unfortunately, I can get out when I have a quick chance, and today was one of those days when I was finally able to get out and run that errand. So those were the main ones. So I'm gonna work on my husband's gift this week, so next week I will have a video for you as well. I don't know, I don't know, we'll see how much I stitch over the week leading up to Christmas. It might be a slow stitchy time for the next few weeks, but that's okay. So that's all my stitchy progress, not much. I mean, I put well over 1,500 stitches into Dark Queen, so I mean, I'm not gonna say that's not much. That's a decent amount. I've done at least 2,000 stitches total this week, which I'm happy with. I can do more, but lately I find that I don't want to just sit and stitch nonstop all day long, which I'm sure is some people's dream, but sometimes I just want to sit and do nothing. So I ended up finding this, and I thought it was pretty, and it fits a couple prompts for this week, so I mean, it helps. But this is from With Thy Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais. It's called Merry and Minty. It's a stitch along. It was a 4-part stitch along, and it was free. and it's tiny. I mean, it's not huge. I think it'll be like 6 inches by 6 inches depending on, or here, let me see. If you use 36 count, it's 3.5 by 4. So that's if you use 36. I'm probably gonna use some spare white Aida that I have laying around, if I can find it. I have to go find the Aida. I don't have all of the floss, but I had enough that I could, and then I could kind of just guess. So I've got a couple of the flosses here. I've made a couple substitutions because I didn't want to go to the store and look for anything because, you know, laziness. That's me being lazy. I wouldn't say it's laziness. I'd say it's just, I don't want to spend a lot of money. So I'm going to work on the Marion Minty Sal, and then I'll probably end up just making it an ornament to put on the tree. So that's, I'll work on this week when I'm finished with my husband's gift, and that will work because I need to have a whip with a tree. So that will have a tree. I need to stitch on Santa, and gosh, I don't even remember. I was gonna pull Northern Nights out this month to work on it for a couple things, and then I found some other things. An Arctic animal. I'm actually using Sasquatch for that because in the Arctic, a Sasquatch is known as a Yeti. Duh. So that works. There was one that had the Northern Lights, and I ended up using Dark Queen for that because if you've ever seen the Northern Lights, usually they're green, but sometimes you can get really, really gorgeous purples and blues in the Northern Lights. And I was so lucky to be able to see those in Alaska frequently. So I said, well, my Dark Queen fits that because the colors that Dark Queen are the same colors as the Northern Lights in Alaska. I need to stitch something with the North Pole and something with Santa. So I think Marion Minty will work for both because Santa lives at the North Pole. Santa's standing on the reindeer. So I've got that covered. And yeah, and then my husband's gift. So those are the things I'll work on this week. And that's about it. That's it. I don't have anything else to share. So I guess I will say, gosh, I don't even know. I'm terrible at ending these things. Yeah, I guess thanks for watching. Thanks for all the comments this last week. I love them. And, you know, I think maybe the Monday after Christmas I'll do my whip parade. Or maybe I'll do that so that it comes out. Maybe I'll do my whip parade for that first video in January. That could be fun. I gotta figure that out because I just realized Christmas is next week. We haven't watched any Christmas movies. I pulled out some Christmas music yesterday, and I took a break from stitching to do some digital scrapbooking because I'm very, very behind. Stitching has taken over my life this year, and so, which is a bummer because I'd made a goal when my husband deployed that I would get caught up on my albums, and I haven't because I started stitching instead. Anyway, so I did some digital scrapbooking last night and listened to Christmas music while I was doing it, and then I think next week we're just gonna pull out all the Christmas movies, and it's just gonna be a lazy week filled with Christmas movies. And then maybe try to go out and see if there's any fun Christmas lights that we can go look at. I love looking at Christmas lights. And yeah, Christmas baking, because I need all that extra goodiness. I need it on my hips, of course. But no, I make a good homemade almond roca, and then this year I'm gonna attempt my very first Rocky Road fudge, because there were no Christmas markets to go to buy Rocky Road fudge. I need some, so I think that's gonna be what I make this next week. Super fun. All right, I am gonna go ahead and end this video, and I hope you guys have a great stitching week, and I will see you again shortly. Bye.